Hey everyone, it's Captain Oro here, bringing you another video for Pokémon Champions. This week we're bringing you a duplicate team for Mega Gardevoir. This team was inspired by Toller Webb. We're using the original 6 of the team that he used to finish in the top 32 of the Grand Champions Festival. For those of you who don't know who Toller Webb is, he is the 2012 Senior Division World Champion and the 2024 Knoxville Regional Champion. If you wanted to catch me playing these teams on stream, I stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 PM BST to 10 PM BST. Now, in regard to the team, as I mentioned, it was inspired, but I've also mentioned that I'm using the same 6. Now, when I say it was inspired by Toller Webb, he actually posted after the tournament saying there were a few changes that he would make. So after reading up on the changes he made, I made those changes onto the team. And then I also made a few changes for myself onto the team. So for example, he was running Jolly Talonflame. I decided to run Adamant Talonflame because a lot of Sneaslers now are running a little bit more bulk. And running Adamant Talonflame means I'm guaranteed to pick up the KO the majority of the time with the Acrobatics Gale Wing boosted no item Talonflame. So there's a couple of changes there. But what we'll do now is we'll go and break down the team. First up is Gardevoir. This is the Mega on the team, and on this team we only have one Mega, so that is something to take into account. There are certain game plans where you might not bring the Gardevoir because it doesn't have a favourable matchup. However, I did find myself leaning on a kind of Gardevoir Talonflame lead or a Gardevoir Mousehold lead, depending on the opponent's team. I think Gardevoir's in a kind of nice position because obviously it can set the Trick Room up for itself to then pump out powerful Hyper Voices. For those of you who don't know, Mega Gardevoir gets the ability Pixilate, which turns all normal type of moves into a fairy type move. So that Hyper Voice gets that stab from the fairy boost. That's quite nice. Now, I won't go into too much depth into the EVs. Effectively, I just gave it a little bit of defensive bulk, maxed out the HP, and then moved the special attack above the second bump. That's just to make sure the Hyper Voices are hitting super hard. On the original team, on Toller Webb's version, he had Side Shock, but he did actually mention that the Psychic would be enough, and that's something that he would change back to, so I changed back to that. Now, the ability Telepathy also allows us to partner it with our Garchomp that's on this team. You might sometimes play a line where you go for a Psychic and a Earthquake at the same time and then take no damage from that Earthquake, but those are rare occasions. Often enough you're wanting to Mega the Gardevoir quite quickly to get those Hyper Voices or those Psychics off to hurt your opponent with maximum damage. Next up is the Garchomp. Garchomp I basically stayed the same from the original team, carrying Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, Stomping Tantrum and Earthquake. The EVs are the exact same as what's on Toller Webb's team. I didn't feel there was too much reason to change it. There might be reasons for you to go with the Dragon Fang set or maybe a Citrus Berry bulky set. However, the Citrus Berry on this team is currently taken up. It is trained in the Adamant nature, so we hit the second bump on the Adamant nature, and you do have a chance of living a D-Gleam from a Mega Floette, though it is a 18% chance, I believe, from what I checked on the calculations with this version. So just be careful around that. Obviously, they still have a chance to KO you with a D-Gleam, and that's also a read. They might just Moon Blast you instead, and then you lose your Garchomp, though you will be moving before them on that one. It's got Rough Skin, obviously, so you can chip the Pokemon that are holding Sash, or even chip those 1% Pokemon that physically hit you. So that's something to take into account when you are game planning. Often again, one of my common needs was Garchomp and Talonflame in the lead, so I could Earthquake freely or hit some big damage while setting up a Tailwind. The other thing to consider when you're running Garchomp is playing it as a back-end Pokemon to win the game, because they lose all their faster speed control Pokemon, and playing it around that way. You do need to make a decision on this team because you only have one flying type Pokemon on this team, so locking into Earthquake and then losing that flying type Pokemon without being able to switch out can be devastating for your team as well. So you do need to be mindful of that, and you can lose games if you don't position this correctly by locking into the correct move. Following up behind Garchomp is Talonflame. Talonflame is a really useful Pokemon. Having your own speed control, especially in the Tailwind sector, is really important in this format. Luckily on this team you have both Trick Room with the Gardevoir and Tailwind with the Talonflame. Talonflame's Tailwind is quite nice. As long as it's at maximum HP, Gale Wing's abilities allows it to set the Tailwind first, which can be quite handy when you're in a format where there's a lot of Aerodactyls. The other good thing is the acrobatics is boosted by not having an item on the Talonflame, so that is something to take into account. If you do change the flying type move, you might want to add Sharp Beak to get that boost. I found acrobatics to be really good because it can pick up the majority of like bulky Sneaslers, and that's why I went with the Adamant Nature as mentioned. Because I've gone Adamant Nature, I wanted to make sure I was outspeeding a lot of Pokemon, so I just went max to make sure I was outspeeding. I haven't designated any bulk other than to the HP. The other thing to consider with this Pokemon is you might want to go with Wisp or Taunt coverage. However, I did find the Flare Blitz coverage very useful. It's just trying to map out that progress across the game. If you're facing against a Sneasler that's got its White Herb proc, you might want to protect the ability to acrobatics first before they attack, as that will give you an advantage in that sector there. Again, we have Basculegion. Basculegion is becoming a staple of the format. If you don't run into a Basculegion, Kingambit or a Sneasler on your run up the ladder, I would be very shocked. This time round, however, this Basculegion is Citrus Berry with adaptability, Wave Crash, Last Respects, Aqua Jet and Protect. I think Aqua Jet is always needed on this Pokemon just because of the amount of high usage Kingambit on the teams. You don't want to get Sucker Punched. Now, with the Citrus Berry, you don't need to run max speed. You can actually run a lot more bulk. I have seen this Basculegion live non-black glass sucker punches from max HP, so that is quite useful information to have if you're kind of playing up against a Kingambit in a 1v1 and you're at full HP. You can go for that Wave Crash. As long as they don't crit you, you're in a good position. The following turn you can then Aqua Jet and hopefully pick up the KO if they're low on HP as well. This one only hits the second bump in attack, so there's a lot of, basically it's max defense and a little bit in HP, but that's for that survivability. Just bear in mind it's actually quite slow as well, so I have seen it a couple of times where Pokemon such as Archaludon have outsped, and so you need to be aware if you're playing against an Archaludon rain team. Bringing this is quite nice for that rain boost that they're going to give you. However, you're not going to be able to outspeed the Archaludon in certain cases because of its 109 speed, and that's just something to consider when playing this Pokemon in the rain matchup. And we have the king of the format, Kingambit. Now, with Toller's version, he actually did not run Protect. He ran Kowtow, Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Low Kick. However, I've gone with a bit of a different set, and this is a set that you sometimes see with the Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Low Kick. I think having this steel coverage on this team is really good because you kind of want to have that steel coverage versus the Floette, but you also want to have that fighting type coverage versus the other Kingambits. This Kingambit is holding the Choppleberry, so that increases your survivability, especially from a Sneasler who's going to CC you from full HP. That's something to keep in mind. If you've got a little bit of chip on your Kingambit, it does increase the chance of an Adamant Sneasler being able to KO you. Obviously, again, a lot of Sneaslers are tending to trend towards being lower in attack now, still with an Adamant nature, but just keep that in mind. Depending on how much chip you've got onto your Kingambit might mean that you're not able to survive. Iron Head though is really nice from full onto Sneasler as well. It does quite a lot of damage, sometimes putting it within Sucker Punch range depending on the bulk that they have in them, so that's quite a nice niche to have. The only Pokemon that I've kind of a couple of times gone, oh, this would be really nice to have Kowtow over Iron Head was probably Sinistcha, where you have to basically call them Magic-Atching to get the Sucker Punch off, or the Basculegions, where you would need to play that Sucker Punch Aqua Jet game against them. They can kind of cool that game then, and then you kind of in a bit of a difficult spot with this Pokemon because you've only got Iron Head to hit it. Hopefully it will be enough if you're in a situation where you're 2v1. However, other situations where you've already chipped, it might not be enough to KO the Pokemon. And last but not least, we have the family of 4 Maushold. Obviously, you don't need to have the family of 4, you can just have the family of 3. But this Pokemon's really impressed me. I was a bit worried going into the format with Maushold, obviously it being super fighting weak because of format having a lot of fighting types. I was thinking that you need Choppleberry, but you want Choppleberry for the King Gambit. Sands around the whole format, so having Sash doesn't make sense. But actually, this Pokemon kind of benefits from the Sash. It forces the opponent, especially on a non-redirect turn, to respect the fact that you could click Protect on your attacking Pokemon. Super Fang, a really bulky Pokemon, and then follow up with a attack as a following turn. Especially versus Archaludons, I found that really useful, where I've kind of paired Gardevoir alongside the Maushold, and you're able to kind of Super Fang and then Hyper Voice into that Pokemon. Super Fang obviously does 50%. The Hyper Voice itself with no light screen from a Mega Gardevoir will probably get the rest of that 50% if they're not trained correctly. So that's really nice. Again, the other factor is you've got to follow me. As mentioned, that's just really annoying for an opponent to deal with. Sometimes you will just find your opponent aggressively targeting down the Maushold. So trying to learn when to attack with the Maushold and when to protect with the Maushold is quite important, and when to redirect your attacks. It's quite nice. The other factor is you could have Taunt on this Pokemon, but I do actually find Helping Hand really helpful with the Hyper Voices from Gardevoir. It just puts everything within range. A lot of times I was clicking Helping Hand, and then Hyper Voice just really helped. Obviously, because it's your redirector, I do think you want to have Protect, which just helps it stay on the field for a little bit longer. And we have to speak about its ability, Friend Guard. Friend Guard obviously basically gives your teams a version of screens without having to set it up. There's been games where I've saved Maushold even though it's on like low HP to bring it in the later stage to allow my Pokemon to survive hits from Pokemon that would normally KO it, and that's proven to win me games as well. So we've gone over the team now. What we'll do is we will jump into the games. So let's go ahead and jump into our first game.
I wouldn't say it's a wrong item, I just think it's an awkward item right now because of just how much heat is on King Gambit. Like when there's heat on perk Pokemon, you have to have defensive ways around it. This is the Charizard X coaching team, which has got a Masquerada on it, which is interesting. How do I deal with this? Might be the top 4. It's also the fact, like in that game, I need to get better at Sucker Punch Mind games. Like I've noticed that's like a weak point in my play. Of like, oh, there's a Pokemon that can just Sucker Punch me, and I'm like, okay. I'm just sat there like, oh, okay. This acrobatics. If they're Choice Scarf, they'll die. If they're not Choice Scarf, and their Sash, they'll like live. Their Scarf. Hey Dracools, how we doing, man? Okay. Fine. Do a bit of damage. No Icy Wind or Ice Beam, please. No, Ice Wind, of course. Okay.
I think I just go for a protect here. Be safe to start off with.
I mean, maybe I should have tailwinded there, but if they just don't even bother. They're just gonna second Icy Wind again. If it was cold. Okay.
I'm just gonna Earthquake again. Oh, but this time set up a Tailwind. Yeah, and you're going to pick up 2 KOs and give me 2 Last Respect boosts, which I'm fine with. And
should outspeed. Yeah, perfect.
I was sat there like, I'm running Adamant Talonflame to pick up the bulky things. I'm just sat there like, do I actually outspeed this fast Milo? Let's find out together. Okay, so that's not too bad in that regard because it saves us the Talonflame for later on. Who have they got in the back? That's the question. They've lost their Incineroar. Potentially, it is their Sizzle. If I'm Mega and Acrobatics here, and hopefully that should pick up the Masquerada and then the Acrobatics. As long as they haven't got Sucker Punch, we're kind of like, oh, they're just faster overall. They're Scarf. Okay. There we go. I mean, again, looking at it, like I've now got Fast Legion at plus 2 Last Respect, so this kind of like allows me to get rid of the Minor, which is a nice thing. And then if it is what I suspect, yeah, perfect. I'm more than happy to go here and Last Respects onto the Milo. What I don't want to do is give it the opportunity to be like take. The thing is, like, they need to deal with the Basque Legion, but they also need to deal with the Gardevoir, but I can't allow them to Sword Stance freely. So that's kind of like why I'm making this play. But I also don't want to get Skull Burn on the Basque Legion because that would just be game over. Especially if they picked up the KO on the Gardevoir. Without realizing it, they've just powered up my Last Respects. Yep. I do like support Milo, like it's an interesting one. I think if you're running the Helping Hand version with no with Protect, then you probably want to be Citrus Berry over the let's just straight KO. Basque Legion, you beast.
Yeah, I think you want to be
Citrus Berry over the lefties, I think. I would say. match, I'm more than happy to do that. Might give me a break from having a heart attack. I've had so many games today, chat, where I'm just like on the edge, like, so. Just checking when the next ad break is. Oh, you don't have a team, you don't. Like, ah, fair enough, fair enough. I'm not going to force you. Ooh. I kind of like Talongardi here with Garchomp, King Gambit. No, this gets awkward because they've got like 3 of the same things that I've got. I'll just surprise you with you at local to a crack team. Probably be just something annoying. I'll look at the paper and just like, oh. Ooh, we were close. We both went with similar kind of ideas. We're both like, Tailwind plus this. Okay, I'm just gonna rip a big Hyper Voice and at the same time go for an Acrobatics. We've effectively both gone, hey, we've got Trick Room. Hey, we've got Tailwind. Let's see what you do. But I think here you can't just like double protect, because if you double protect, then you're gonna get like, they're gonna get one advantage or the other. Now if they click Trick Room Tailwind, that would be hilarious. Yeah, I'm not fighting type. Please be faster, please be faster, please. Gardevoir, lock in, be faster. Just be really fast, please. I'm really scared that blade is faster though. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Okay, Milo, that's fine. It's not your teams are annoying to deal with sometimes. I will still never forget the Hoodra Calyrex paralysis battle we had. That was horrible. I'm not saying it wasn't my fault. I'm just saying it was really awkward, because I had to do that play to try and get around you putting me to sleep. that was like the whole idea, and then I just got parried for like every turn I needed to not get parried. And I was just sat there like, cool, yay. Yeah. Go for an icy wind again, I dare you. They're most likely going to go for a Scald now. But it then allows me to reset Gardevoir. Yeah, to be fair, he did. Yeah. I think that's what made it like a stressful game though. Is that you made that call in game 2. And if you hadn't, it might have been kind of okay. So. Okay, so most likely if they've led similar to me, oh no, it wouldn't, 100%. I mean, I'm going to throw Gardevoir out here. They could have their own King Gambit, which would make 100% sense for my team. But they've got their own Gardevoir. Okay, so this is actually, like, quite good for me. Race the Defiant. The Cup and Challenge for September. Oh, you mean the previous September? What, where we like played each other like 6 times? Yeah, because you beat Ed on the speed turn. I knew they were going to protect. Why did I? If I get burnt here, I'm not in a good position. Gonna protect. Oh. Okay. I need to start checking the status board because I'm going, have I got tailwind turns left, and I've got 1. Which is fine because it should, the Iron Head always picks up. This is why I have Iron Head on here plus Sneasel. 12. 15 for first, 12 for second. Oh my god. Great on the Milo. Live. Oh my god! Oh my god! What? Do not click recover. Do not click recover. Thank you. Why is someone running Hyper Beat? That's absolutely crazy. Ooh. I mean, we're in a fine position because they can't protect now, and I can just EQ, and both Pokemon should die. That was like a full-on gamble by them. Like, hey, they're not going to have something that can hit both. So it will allow me to recharge my Gardevoir. Fine. Yeah. Yeah, the Guardi's down. The Gardevoir's always going down to an EQ at that percentage. As we found out in the previous game when I EQ'd my own. I was like, I have an out. If I get a Trick Room up, I might win this game. Just EQ'd my own Gardevoir to death. Perfect. Oh. Yay. Yay, 2-match streak. Triple Dragon, double Steel, double Water. You'd be mad not to have White Guard on this team. Okay, let's go. These are the 4-1. Yeah. Because I don't think Garchomp, because of double flying as well, is very good into that. Okay, belly out. I don't mind. I don't mind this lead. Because this effectively allows me to Super Fang into this spot. They have to Wide Guard if they want to stop the Hyper Voice. Yeah. That's fine. There you go, down to 50%. Not the mouse hold. I think I just Hyper Voice again and just Super Fang out into the Pelipper. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they hadn't done it in that order, like if they had Tailwinded, then gone for that, then I would have kind of been like, oh, this is a little bit tricky. I can't remember the order that they went in. Definitely a follow me, yeah, anyway. I think my Gardevoir went first. No, I don't think it did. No, it did, okay. This should be a very dead Arch there. Arch is a great Pokemon, but without like a light screen, it's so difficult. Okay, do we believe the Basculegion to be scarfed on this team? That is kind of the question. Or do we play it safe, protect, and see what's going on? I think we play it safe. If they go for another wave crash, then we presume that they are scarf. And that kind of helps us answer that question. See what we can go from there. What we don't want to be dealing with is just like an Aqua Jet kind of mind game. Because if that's the case, I'm just going to sucker into the Dragonite, break the scale, and then go from there. Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay. I respect that. How many turns are Rain? One. I was about to say, this is where they show us we're actually, that's because they're going to be a berry, because the berry would have propped. Yeah. They're not any other item other than Mystic Water. Okay. Oh. That's unfortunate. I think we got too much out of turn one in terms of like just getting 50% there, and it was like, okay, like they would have to make another wide, like, to be fair, they could have gone wide guard again and then just attacked again with the Archaludon and just said, I'm just going to call you Hyper Voicing. Yeah. So I think it was like difficult call, but maybe should have just protected Last Respect and then pick it up from there. Heat Heart Extra.
Oh, interesting. No bunny. Extra drill's kind of extra drill and lock bunny are kind of actually annoying. Yeah, I definitely want to bring KG. I think Basque is in. I was considering Garchomp. I think Basque is better. Let's hope they just don't lead T-Tar X go. Because then I'll be sat there like, oh, I need to reposition. Okay. Loop Bunny Talon, Loop Bunny Sinister, interesting. Which would suggest to me that they are going for okay. I'm kind of fine with it. I'm just going to protect here. And I'm going to just pump out a Hyper Voice. They might have Shadow Blue on this finisher, which would be kind of scary. I think if I can get damage and then an Acrobatics off, yeah, perfect. Yeah, they were trying to break Gale Wings, which now tells me... Okay. Perfect. So, if you've done this... Who have you got in the back? Keep going to the wrong screens. You got Prim. And I'm just going to fire it into the Sinister. I think that's a surefire way of just not allowing them to have their way. Fair enough. Get this tailwind. Okay, that's fine. I get good damage off the T-Tar. He's either going to go for like a dark move or a rock slide into killing the Talonflame. Oh, that does a lot of damage. Mr. Talonflame is what they were aiming for. Man, this bat's become single target, so that T-Tar is that T-Tar's gone. Yeah. I think they're trying to hold on to their weather. Okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about a Primarina. Hyper Voice and Does it get awkward if this T-Tar survives? Yes. So I'm gonna just make sure, because obviously they could Mega here, then they get like their defensive boosts. I'd rather not deal with the T-Tar. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like their lead just screamed to me that they had T-Tar Prim in the back and not the Extra Drill. I actually think the Extra Drill was very, very free. Like, not free, but very difficult for me to kind of like deal with. Fair enough, they went for a double protect. I can respect that. Yeah, Gardevoir Talonflame is quite nice. I mean, the only reason why I could have maybe brought the Garchomp, because Garchomp would then just put more pressure on that extra drill lead, but it's a cool, and it's potentially why they went with that lead and I went with this lead. Again, maybe I should have the Garchomp over the Basculegion. But the Basculegion's a good answer into both of the sand mode. The only thing it probably struggles with is Scrappy Lot Bunny, but we kind of dispatched that very quickly on that one. Oh, the Sableye. Cybertron, what are you doing to us? I'm just gonna turn my heater on. Okay. Venusaur's kind of annoying for Gardevoir, Sableye, Archaludon. The thing is, Gardevoir wants to come versus the Sableye, Archaludon, but against the Scizor and Venusaur, it does not want to see it. Maybe we go with the mouse hold and protect it that way. Bring the Garchomp and the Basque, honestly. I think the one thing I will say about this team, so it's an adaptation off of Tollaweb's team. They did in the Grand Challenge. He like put up like some tweets about it to say what he would change. And effectively, I made a couple of changes that I thought it would suit. Okay. But usually they set a light screen here, and I like going like this. Last time I played this match as well, I accidentally made a little mistake. So I like the Hyper Voice helping hand into Follow Me Hyper Voice. It usually deals with the Archaludon quite nicely. They have to make a decision between Light Screen and Rain Dance, because they can't currently encore or disable anything that's going on. So we actually got the better lead here, which is quite nice, because the other leads that they could have gone with, like the Venusaur or the Scizor, would have been really annoying for me to deal with. If they protect here, then it's so-so. Yeah. And the Sableyes usually Rosselli Berry, which weakens the... Yeah, there we go, the fairy damage that I'm about to put out, but it will take it down to, yeah, and a good amount. Yep, that's fair. Okay. It's whether they go for a disable. If they go for a disable, they're going to stop my Follow Me now. Oh, a Will-O-Wisp. Interesting, okay. I don't mind that so much. It depends on what now comes in. I really need to remember the speed order because I've forgotten if the arch is faster, which could be an issue. And I don't have any interactions telling me this. I'm gonna make the play that they're basing around Y guard on this one. Yeah, cool. Got the berry, but that's fine. That's what we want. Okay, Gardevoir is faster. Gardevoir is faster. Cool. I forget the Mega is faster than non-Mega. Okay, so this is going to be a cool. I need to call whether they're going to wide guard or they're going to try and set up Tailwind to get the advantage on the Archaludon. I think I can, on this turn, kind of split the diff and go for a Fang there. They do like that. They play the safe play. I think the Fang then just puts me in like a okay-ish position. Fine. I could have also Helping Hand Psychic there. That might have helped out there, but yeah. I think what I want to do here is bring in Garchomp. Attack. Yeah. I mean, I could have psychicked actually. Yeah, my god. Because like my worry is now they got okay. Now this is going to be based around the speed interactions of the Basque Legion. Yeah, that's good damage. Don't mind that. Yeah, that's what I was kind of expecting. They should Sludge Bomb here. That's annoying. Okay. If we're faster, we might be okay. Oh, they went into guard. Please. Thank you, Basque. Thank you, Basque Legion. Kill. Oh, we're in such a good position. I thought that, like, the Electroshock was going that way, because they're like, they don't need to. Yeah, because I thought, they're like +4, but like, they don't need to do that play. Yeah, I think we were faster. I'm hoping we were faster. Because the fuck, yeah. I was like in my head, like, please don't be a speed tie. Please do not be a speed tie. Yeah. Ooh. Again, 10th battles for the stream. My heart's just been like bum, 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 every time we've been getting into end games. So there you have it. Those are the games with the Mega Gardevoir team. As I mentioned, it was inspired by Toller Webb's team. So I will post down the links for his tweets to that team down below in the description, so you can check those out. I'll also put the poker paste in for this team, so if you wanted to take it on Showdown before taking it on to Cart, that will be down there below. But if you enjoyed this video and want more competitive Pokemon content like this, make sure to like this video so I know you're into these breakdowns. And if you're trying to improve at Pokemon Champions, definitely subscribe. I've got more, like, a lot more guides, team breakdowns and gameplay coming up. As I mentioned, I stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 PM BST to 10 PM BST. So definitely come along to watch these games in live. There's a lot of games that I play with a lot of different teams. If there's a particular mega that you want to see played, drop a comment down in the comments below. Because I'll definitely look for teams to play, whether it's me building myself or looking for teams that are already functioning correctly and doing well in competitions. I try and read all the comments and obviously reply to you as best as possible with that. But if you want to keep up to date with any new videos uploaded, make sure to click that subscribe and that like button. And if you want to know when they go live, the next videos as well, I do post on the X. But that is the team. I'll just show you the stats again. That one, so that's the team there. Rental code is in the team ID, so if you do use this team, I hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun using it. Make sure to get those big Hyper Voice helping hands off, because they are quite fun when you do it. But that is everything for now, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.